Streaming, and where am I at here? Start recording, and it looks like it's picking up our voices, so we're good to go.
Good morning.
What's going on, everybody?
Hello.
Hey. For all the YouTube viewers out there, welcome back. That's a different angle, huh, Brian?
I put it over here because usually I'm facing
Oh,
this
gotcha,
way. 'Cause
gotcha.
We're facing, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out which way is best. I don't know. Nobody wants to look at me in anyway, so we're cool.
Yeah, we're in a battle now. Like you've got your little auger over there, and I've got mine over here. Yours is taller though.
Don't be jealous.
No, I'm not. It's got more places to hit. Now, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody had a great week one. Mine was strange. I feel really good about my roster in Top Gun after week one, but I'm 0-1. And I scored the third most points in the league in week one.
Oops. Yeah, I think there's lots of people out there that can feel your pain there.
It happens.
Yep.
It happens. Yeah. At least once a year, you have a really good week and just get cooled by a better week. And
you hope it only happens once a year.
That's fantasy football.
I've had years where you just feel snake bit. Like I've literally been the point leader overall in points and had a losing record. I mean, that feels bad.
That was my first season with you guys. I felt like I was like...
You had one of those?
Oh, yeah, I was just always leading the pack in points. I think Ken was the only one that was beating me there for like the first half of the season, and I just kept losing and losing and losing. Everybody was having their best game against me. I was so frustrated. Yeah.
All right. Well, as we get started, guys, this is a pre-Sunday morning, so I think most people, you've kind of figured things out, but everyone's got those last-minute decisions. So if you have those last-minute decisions, give them to us, and, at least you can have 3 more opinions on what you have to do.
Yes. Increase your probability of success.
There you go. And I want to start that off with a personal start-sit decision here, and that is A.J. Brown. So Monday night is when he plays. He's questionable. There's no way we're going to know anything until Monday night. So do I leave him in? I've got nobody to put him in his place on Monday. If he doesn't play, I'm just screwed. Or do I just put him on my bench for Pickens, who is going to be covered by, what's his name? Is that Surtain? Or anyway, he's got a major cornerback on him that scares me. I can start McLaurin, Keenan Allen, or DeAndre Hopkins over A.J. Brown there. What do you think?
Well, knowing which league you're talking about, I would say there's a couple of interesting options on the wire still.
Oh, actually, this is a different league.
Oh, it's a different league?
Yeah.
Really?
You have A.J. Brown everywhere.
Oh, that was not smart.
Well, not this week. It's not.
So, shoot the options again.
McLaurin, Allen, Hopkins. Keenan.
I play Keenan.
In Chicago, that defense is no joke.
He plays for Chicago.
Oh, sorry, Houston. I'm just looking at... Who knows where these guys are anymore? Okay. Keenan, what?
All these whippersnappers just moving city to city. I can't keep up anymore.
68% usage last week. Okay, he had 11 targets. I didn't see that.
Oh, that was the player, Ray, that I was interested in. If you wanted to do like Keenan and Taysom Hill for Jordan Mason, I'd be into that.
Yeah.
That's fair, right?
What was it again? Keenan Allen, Jordan Mason?
Keenan Allen, Taysom Hill for Jordan Mason.
about right. Both sides.
It's value for him all year long because he's the one with McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah. That's even better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's not bad because he's got him for at least 4 weeks.
At least 4. Yeah.
And those 4 weeks are going to be great.
We don't know what's going to
Yeah.
happen. It could be a weird year with CMC. He could have just got everybody again. Like I have him in one league, redraft, and thank God I got Mason on the waiver wire. I don't know how. I don't know if I had priority because it's an ESPN league and they're weird, but feel good. But if you're somebody who has CMC and you didn't get Mason, oh man, I feel bad for you. So that's what I do. I'd play Keenan Allen and not worry about it too much. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
Like if and what are your other starters?
Oh, in that league, let's see.
Because I know in Top Gun you're in trouble.
Yeah. No, Malik Neighbors and Rashi Rice.
Oh, you're fine.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, you're fine. But in Top Gun, on our waiver wire right now, you could get Andrea Josivas, who played 100% of snaps.
Yeah.
Very like I liked a comparison I heard at some point in the week between him and Tyler Boyd. Not players type, but in terms of serviceability in fantasy football, when either Higgins or Chase are not playing. So, and he played 100%. I think Rashad Bateman is interesting. Flowers is going to get all the within 5 yard of the line of scrimmage targets. It was gross to watch. But Bateman runs the medium routes and the deeper routes and got a fair amount of targets and played a large percentage of snaps. And they talked about him in the offseason. Harbaugh really likes him. And that was kind of backed up in that game against the Chiefs, I thought.
He might be the 4th option on that team, though. On a team that doesn't throw that much.
I don't know. I think people are really getting way too excited about what Likely did. I'd be more...
Overall, I agree.
I personally am more concerned about Mark Andrews than I am excited about what Likely did.
Fair.
So I'm just talking about in your particular situation. Like, I would rather start Bateman than Hopkins.
Okay. And
So
what about
there's a couple more.
JSN and DeMarcus Robinson?
Quentin Johnston played 70% of the snaps, had 5 targets. And I think that's
Feels
it.
like you guys are. It feels like you're talking about prospects that maybe I can put on my
Trey
bench if I
Tucker.
have room. Or
Trey Tucker. Well, you have to
I'm
start
talking about
people.
this week.
You have to start people. We're talking about
The players that you were talking about, you'd start over JSN and
Yeah.
DeMarcus Robinson.
JSN for sure. He's playing at New England. Didn't do well against Denver, which is a worse defense than New England. The situation is just worse. So I'm not getting rid of him, but I don't want to start him.
I hear you. But then I got to drop somebody too, and I know you don't care about Hopkins, but I think he's
To me,
on my team.
we're gonna
he's
get
worth
like
it.
4 or 5 weeks down the line, and you're gonna be like, I should have just listened to you and dropped him week 2.
It's very possible, but it could also go the other way. You know.
I'm very unlikely.
All right.
In my
So, to
3
me-
years of experience, I wouldn't drop Hopkins.
Yeah, but look what his situation is right now. He's injured. He has a knee injury. Okay, and what is he? 32 now. He has a knee injury. He's not the number 1 target on a bad offense.
We think. We'll see. It's week 1. We don't know.
Again, that's why I prefaced that with only 3 years of doing this. Be careful. Don't listen.
Yes, he is 32. But okay.
And then, if I were you, I'd be trying to start. Oh no, you can't. Your running back situation's good.
Oh, it's great.
That's what you should do. Is you should have been trying to shop Dobbins.
I want to wait one more week, and I think he's going to have a good week this week.
So
I want to make sure he has.
and then what
I get
happens?
value out of him.
You're going to start him over who? Rashad White, Kamara, Gibbs?
No, then I can get a trade.
You could have got one this week, a good one. And
Right.
if he's bad, that gets worse, and you need a receiver now. So you probably could have shopped him to somebody. There's bad running back situations in our league right now.
Oh, I know.
Anyway,
I think I'll get more value next week. I really do. And I've got Gus Edwards there too, and so it makes it a little bit more interesting for me. I think I'll go. I think I'm going to get a better trade next week. I really do.
You know what, dude? You're fine. You should start Sutton over JSN for sure. And if you want to bet on that,
I was going to say we're going to talk about my Steelers soon here, but all right, let's just start the Homer minute because
thank you.
oh my God, did you guys see that Steeler defense? TJ Watt? Oh my God, I had so much
It was
fun.
the Falcons. Calm down.
Dude.
Kirk couldn't move, so calm down.
He damn straight he couldn't, because he had somebody in his face all day.
He was even more immobile than usual, though. So
I agree, but that defense is great. It's going to do great things this year. We only scored field goals, and we talked about that on the way home yesterday. Like, who cares? Like, as long as we get 17, 18 points, we're going to win games, a lot of them. And I'm super excited, and I do not want to play anything against that defense right now. So that's why I have Sutton on the bench. Make sense?
No, it's very Homer style of playing fantasy football, and you do that a lot.
Do I?
Yes, where you're willing to. If the Steelers do bad, so will my fantasy team.
Well, we do play this for fun, so that does make sense.
You know what you should have done this week was you should have picked up Boswell and dropped Koo.
I almost did.
I've seen it get picked up a lot.
Yeah.
In all my dynasty leagues, he got picked up this week. So
I picked him up in my Dynasty League this week, so.
Yeah, your offense looked terrible. Just actual terrible.
It kind of did what it's supposed to do. We got to move the ball, and we were babying Justin Fields. I mean, it's like, all right,
you
dude,
think that
no
it's gonna look
turnovers.
different with Russ? Oh man, I feel bad for you.
All right, we'll see.
So stay excited about that defense because the offense isn't going to do anything for you.
What did I say?
Yeah.
My defense. That's what I'm excited about. Like, I'm excited
And
that
all
my
I said was- I
offense
didn't
can
say get
score
excited. I said
18.
stay excited. I am aware of your excitement level. I'm just saying keep that. It's hard to keep that excitement level for defense week after week after week because you're going to lose games like 16-10 where your defense was really good, but you're feeling down because you lost.
I'm a Steeler fan, man. We've done this for many years. I get it. So
But yeah, good win. It's a good win.
felt good.
Those road non-conference games are tough. So getting that as a W is really good for your schedule.
And honestly, I saw good things in Atlanta. Like, that offense is not as bad as it looked against us. We made it look bad. I really think so.
Maybe. If that's the case, I should be trying to trade for London right now, right? Get him on cheap.
I wouldn't mind getting him on the cheap.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You want to go next or me?
I can. I don't really.
I'll go next because yours was the best one. You had the best game of the week in your Homer Minute. Hey, buddy. Do I deserve this?
I don't know. Your guys' hat bet was
Oh no, it's you.
Sutton and Williams. Ken had Sutton and Brian had Williams.
How'd that go?
What were the scores there?
I think Sutton was like 8 points and Javante was 3.
It was like, I thought we were like 1 point off.
I don't think so.
No?
Sutton had like 11 targets. I'll search Sutton. You get Williams.
Y'all don't know?
I was pretty sure. Sutton was 7.8 on 12 targets. 12. So you should be starting him, and you should be starting him for sure.
There he is. Sorry. Yeah. 3.3.
Put your hat on.
Fine.
Oh, you look good.
I didn't have to wear this much last year. I'm not used to it.
I feel like he's on a streak, isn't he? We'd have to go back and check the tape, but I'm pretty sure. I don't think the playoffs were good for you last year.
Regular season was better than playoffs. You're absolutely right.
What did you guys get? This was Cortland's son and Jameson Williams, right?
Javonte. It was Javonte Williams.
Oh, okay. Never mind
then. Yeah, Jameson had a great game. And we can talk about that during your Homer Minute. So he was saying he was surprised by how well the Cowboys did last week. And I really wasn't. I actually thought they kind of played, a middling game. I didn't think they were that great. The defense.
I see we're all excited about our teams this week.
Like you're excited about your defense. I'm really excited about my defense. I think they're going to be awesome.
Right on.
DeMarvion Overshone, who missed all of last year due to an ACL injury in training camp, played his first game, had like a forced fumble, a sack, a tackle for loss. He was all over the place. He's tall, kind of lean, somewhere between a defensive end and an outside linebacker. So I'm excited to see what Zimmer does with him this year. Eric Kendricks was exactly what we needed him to be in game one, and that's the quarterback of the defense. He was everywhere. He's been with Zimmer for years, so he knows how to run this defense. I thought he was one of the more underrated signings of the offseason. And yeah, I'm real happy with like I was saying, those non-conference road games. Scratching those off as W's is real big, and the Cowboys got one too, being able to win at Cleveland, because it's an easy game to just at the end of the year look at it as an L and be like, that makes sense. But so to get a big win like that, what was the final score of that game? Like 34-10 or
something like that. Yeah,
it
made
was
Cleveland look bad.
Yes, and made Watson there's a bunch of questions about Watson, this week after that game because he looks so bad. But I thought Amari Cooper is still awesome. I thought he looked great. Like he was still getting open. He's like, if you can get him on the cheap somehow anywhere, I think that's a great buy. I think he's going to be much better. They were this close to like a 35-yard touchdown. He just right off his fingertips or something like that. Excited for Zeke. Zeke had like 80% of the running back work.
Yep.
And so I know a lot of people were just assuming it was going to be Rico Dowdle, and I was like, well, I mean, maybe I'm just a Zeke fan, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get the majority of the work. Like he didn't come back to Dallas, and then pay him twice because he was still on the books from his last deal. So they announced his new deal when he came back to Dallas, but that adds on to the deal they already have in place for him, where they were paying him for like dead money from letting him go. So he's getting a lot more than that. So for them to be willing to pay him again, it didn't make sense for him to be a backup. So that felt good, validating,
Yeah.
Also, real quick, wanted to correct a mistake I made last week when I was talking about the offensive line, the rookies. It's Tyler Guyton is the first rounder we picked up, and then I didn't mention at all was Cooper Beebe is the third rounder. Both of those guys are day one starters and looked awesome. They made that Cleveland defense look very average.
They made Zeke look good.
So does hurdling players.
Yeah.
Like when you jump over a guy who's 6 feet tall, that also looks pretty good on film.
I love how much you love Zeke.
I do. I really do. He's just a fun guy.
Yeah.
He's also, there was this story that came out about him and Dak from their rookie year. Mm-hmm. And Zeke was the first rounder and Dak was the fourth rounder. So Zeke was the one with the money. And I guess Dak was talking about how Zeke would pay for food all the time. And Zeke took care of him during their rookie year when he was in his first contract. So he's just a good dude. I like him.
Right on.
I liked everything about your teams for week one except for the end.
No kidding, huh?
I was, man, before you start talking about team, I gotta say I was so impressed with the end of that game for the Lions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because they just came out in overtime. We're like, we're not giving them the ball. We're not going to put the ball in danger. We are just going to run over them right now. They're not going to stop us. And you couldn't. It was crazy.
It was like
chunk run after chunk run.
It was like watching a game from like last season. I felt like there in the overtime game. I was like, oh my gosh, just stop this guy from running. He must have grabbed the ball, 7-8 times at the end there.
David Montgomery going into overtime was a huge bust of a play in fantasy football. And then in overtime, had like 40 yards rushing and a touchdown. Completely made his day in overtime.
Yeah. And I was watching that and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like I mean it was great to see Stafford just come back from like a 14-point deficit and stuff, and I was like, yeah, that's why we brought him onto the team, because he can do stuff like that. And best comeback quarterback I think still right now of all the quarterbacks playing, probably still has the most comeback wins of any active quarterback.
Mahomes is winning all the time.
And don't get me wrong. It's because a lot of people are ahead going into it, right? But it definitely makes me question the season a little bit. Like, oh man, are we gonna ever figure out how to stop the run? Because we had those same struggles the last couple seasons. So that's where I'm at with it right now.
Yeah, and I thought one of the reasons I was so impressed with the Lions was because it was so smart on the part of their coaching to just say, hey, look, they can't stop us. Like, that defense is not up to this task. And, and implement the game plan rather than try and be cute, get deep in their playbook and run some stuff that you hadn't seen yet just to try and try some stuff. Yeah. They were like, no, we're just going to run you over. And thankfully for you and Rams fans, that's not something that's going to present itself like every week.
Yeah.
It's something that's on tape, and some teams are going to definitely try harder to just like run the ball against you now, more than likely. Mm-hmm. But that Lions defense was also better than, half the league. So I think even without Puka, the Rams are going to be able to put points on people. So
for sure. We haven't had the 1-2 threat very long either in last season and
they haven't played together very much.
They still haven't. Yeah. And the Rams are still putting points on the board regardless of which one they have on the field. So I'm not too much worried about that, but we got, I think, Arizona today at the 1:00 game. So Arizona did pretty good last week. Even if they didn't win, they still did pretty good. And so it should be like an interesting game, I think. It's a conference game. Sean McVay traditionally can beat the Cardinals in his tenure with the Rams. So we'll see what happens there. If we can bring back some of that confidence for the fans. I look forward to today's game. See what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to that one.
I don't think it's a fucking put it in the books. Let's look to next week kind of game.
No.
You know what I mean? Like they need to have their head in this game.
Yeah.
I want to see how much Kyler runs in this game. That's what I want to see.
I think the Rams do a decent job at containing running quarterbacks. I think they've done a pretty good job at that. However, they don't have Donald anymore, so we'll see what happens.
Yep. So that's why I think it's gonna be interesting.
With your mic right here, there's a little screw right there. Loosen it and then swivel your mic so the icon is facing you. Right here, look.
Sorry, guys, doing some technical stuff here. Getting all the mics working correctly.
No, don't unplug the cord. It has nothing to do with the cord. It's the mount. There you go. Unscrew it just a little bit so you can swivel so the icon's facing you. Nothing to do with the cord.
What icon?
This one on the mic itself.
Oh.
Yeah, or you can just do that. I was making it more difficult than that.
Yeah.
And then I think you'll start picking up a little more.
Okay. Yeah.
That must have been what happened, actually, then. That swivel right there must have been what did it. But that's why you keep coming like this. I'm hearing you doing this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm in the back of the mic.
Yeah, you're talking to the back of my mic.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oops.
We're all good. We got it fixed.
So are we? Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to ask you about the game.
Sure.
Did you hear about the controversy with the coloring of the back of the end zone in Detroit? How they were saying that Stafford threw that pick in the end zone because he couldn't see the guy because the guy blended in so well with the wall behind him.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't hear nothing about that.
Yeah, so I don't want to get too deep into the weeds.
That's why we lost. No,
but I think there's an investigation that's going to happen as a result of that. So we'll see if something happens.
What the heck?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I think that's a little much.
Competition stuff.
Yeah, it's a little.
It's important.
It's a little much, and that's part of home field advantage, all that stuff. If I don't see if the Dolphins are allowed to burn out the opposing team, why a paint job?
Well, they looked into that too.
So
they look at everything. Huh?
Home field
What are they
advantage.
going to do? Make them change the stadium? I mean,
well, we're talking about the inside of the wall, so you go where the tunnel is.
no, I was saying for Miami.
Oh, Miami.
Cooking them out.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. There's not much you can do there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now I got the other one. I was
The
like,
scheduling,
oh, that's genius.
That's how they can do it.
That's
Miami
true, too,
only
though,
plays night games at home until November or something like.
You never know.
So, are we ready to call games now?
Yeah, I think
do
so.
How we do last week?
Yeah, that's what we need to go over. What,
Oh, boy.
How do we do here?
So I got the count, and I encouraged to be double checked, but I have the count as I'm at 12, Ken's at 9, Brian's at 12, and Bezzy's at 11.
Okay, that's not as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And that's because we all missed our lone wolves except Bezzy. Bezzy's the only one that called Minnesota. And you guys talked me out of Minnesota. I was going to pick Minnesota as well, but you guys talked me out of it.
I can't. I'm still. We'll get to this when we talk about the Giants. I'm still struggling with how bad Daniel Jones is.
He definitely looked bad.
Good God.
But he's going to look better this week.
What?
He is. Who's he playing? Washington. Who's the worst defense in the league? Washington.
After 1 week.
Now, first of all, I think they had players hurt.
They were bad last year too, though.
And that's what I'm saying. Everything that I hear from the experts and whatnot is this defense is bad.
What are you talking about?
It's
We
just
are
bad.
the experts.
We're the unaccredited experts. We do better than the experts.
Yes.
A lot of seasons.
True.
That's true.
And in a few weeks we'll check how the experts are doing.
Yeah,
And
we'll
we'll do some comparison rates. So you guys need to step your games up. There's no way I should be the one that's
Yeah, I got to
Representing
do
the
better. I got to be better. I had a bad week.
The podcast on
So where are
Against
we
the
starting?
Experts. So we are starting with the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders are plus 8.5. The over/under is at 41. They're playing against the Ravens. The money line's plus 310, and if you're betting on the Ravens, it's minus 395.
Let's get the worst game out of the way. All right.
Yeah.
So,
this is your survivor pick of the week. This is your lock of the week. This
yeah,
is the
just pick the Ravens and go home.
yeah. Ravens are going to win.
Interesting things for fantasy football, though.
True.
On the Raiders side, real disappointed in the usage for Samir White in week 1. Kind of hoping that that's like the bottom for Devontae Adams for the year, and he played 97% of the snaps, so he's going to be out there, and you figure he's going to have games like that. But if he scores 7, 8 touchdowns this year, he's still going to be a top 12 guy, and
Well, and it's going to depend on if Aiden O'Connell gets in there, because O'Connell just over targets him, that's his man. You know what I mean? Gardner Minshew is like a conservative guy. He just goes in there and takes what he can get, and doesn't push it with Devontae like he probably should a little bit more. And I guarantee you, he's going to hear about it this week.
If he wants to keep that job, he better.
Yeah.
He needs to not be throwing more targets to Brock Bowers. That's for sure.
You wait, say it again?
Brock Bowers had more targets
Yeah.
than Devontae in week 1. So that's strange. That's something to watch out for. Because if he's going to get targets like that, Bowers is going to be one of the top
might
5
be a
guy.
monster this year.
Yeah, really. So we'll see. It's week 1. But, man, it was a really weak showing from the Raiders in week 1. Hoping that gets better for fantasy purposes. But, other than that, guess I was wrong. Not time for the Raiders to be happy. It's never time for the Raiders to be happy.
So we're all going Ravens, I'm guessing?
Yeah, and it's worth talking about on the other side, the tight end situation between Andrews and Likely. I think from what I was listening to, Andrews got bracketed on a lot of the plays. He's getting basically double teamed, and that's why Likely got
He
all
also
the
didn't
action that
play
he got.
a full load of snaps. There were a lot of
because
plays.
He's coming back from illness or injury
No,
or something.
he had broken leg. Remember
Oh.
he's like when I think of how they outlawed the drop tackle,
Okay.
that's what I think of is Mark Andrews getting tackled on Thursday Night Football last year. You don't remember that one?
No. Dude, I don't have that kind of memory. That's you. That's all you, brother.
Yeah, so he broke his ankle or his leg on Thursday Night Football, like week 13, 12, something like that. Him and Burrow went out in the same game. And that's what he's coming back from. So I think
but
it's
there was
just
also
conditioning.
something in camp. So I knew about that, but there was also something in camp. There was 2 weeks that he wasn't able to practice and play. I can't remember if it was illness
speak
or
on
injury, but there was something going on where he didn't get a lot of the training camp. So.
Yeah, that I can't speak on. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I know that his conditioning is probably the biggest issue because he was talking about he's fully healthy. But yeah,
I'm not too worried about Andrews yet. I think
yet.
he's going to be good,
Yeah.
but I'm
Agreed.
watching.
So for people who were invested on Zay Flowers or in Zay Flowers for this season, I'd be a little worried based on how they used him. I thought it was just some real Greg Dortch usage.
That's what you always aspire to, right?
Right,
Greg
exactly.
Dortch levels.
I feel like he's going to give people a lot of 7 for 39s this year, and that's not where you want to be.
Well, yeah. I mean, you want him as your number 3 receiver in a PPR league. Then he's fine.
He looked like a flex guy at best in that game. And considering they had to throw the ball a lot, they were behind, the whole second half.
That's true. That's not their game.
It's surprising that they didn't like try and stretch the field a little more with him. When they wanted to stretch the field, they went to Bateman. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
all right,
I'd be worried if I was a Flowers manager.
Fair.
Next up, we got San Francisco 49ers versus the Minnesota Vikings. San Francisco is minus 4.5 with the over-under of 46.5, minus 218 if you're betting on the Niners, and plus 180 if you're betting on the Vikings.
So when my son was being born last year, the 49ers were losing to the Vikings in a game they were supposed to dominate. They're that type of team that like looks for reasons to be better this week, you know, like extra advantages and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I would expect them to come out motivated to thrash the Vikings this week.
Okay. And they definitely have the team to do it. You know, I mean, Mason looked like a great replacement for McCaffrey last week.
Awesome.
I mean, we'll see if that keeps up. But so far, it's like, wow, all right, plug and play, put them in. If you've got
Shanahan
Mason, you're
offense,
very
dude.
happy right now. You know what I mean? You got somebody off the waiver wire that you can, you know, start for the next 4 weeks. That's beautiful. So
At least 4.
Debo should also get a little bit of a step up too, because he's going to be getting some runs. So
Debo looks awesome. Too.
Yeah,
And
Debo is somebody who's going to take a step up over the next 4 weeks. I think. God, I'm still stumbling over my words on this thing.
Ayuk dropped a touchdown.
Okay, see, it's not just me.
It's not just you, it's me too. Yeah. Depending on which words, you know, how one word ends and how you want to start the next one really kind of messes with like my timing right now. And we're in week 2. This is like episode 3 of the season and still struggling with this mic delay.
I know.
Worst I've seen
I-
you guys struggle with
I think he's messing with us, dude. Like he's doing this. So Ayuk dropped a touchdown, and if he caught it, you know, his week 1's much better. It still felt like they were, you know, using him. Like the offense is what you expect from San Francisco. So, is this a George Kittle week? That's always the question
I know.
in San
It's
Francisco.
so hard to bet on. That's why I never get any Kittle.
Because you want to be like real high on the running back and the 2 receivers all the time. It's just that once every 3 or 4 games, one of those is a power outage because it went to Kittle instead.
Right.
So is that this week? Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as good as any for him to have a good week because the Vikings are weak in the front 7.
Okay, well, and that's my next question is, like, can Minnesota keep up? Like, I expect San Francisco to score a lot of points on them. I expect San Francisco to win. But is this going to be a blowout, or are we going to see some offense on the Minnesota side?
The 49ers,
Sam Darnold,
the
is he for real?
49ers could have kept Darnold if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. They chose not to.
A lot of teams chose not to.
Well, but the 49ers had him last.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you know.
And I do want to say over the last season, maybe even 2 seasons, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm delusional, but I did see improvements in Darnold.
Fantasy-wise, he's
Actually,
turned the ball over less, and he still runs.
Right.
So, he takes less sacks. That's for sure. That's the best part about Darnold is he's not having so many negative plays, but he's still not like he's not a terrible fantasy starting quarterback to have.
Okay.
But in terms of actually winning the game and no, I could easily see the Vikings being down by like 20 points at the end of the first quarter.
I can too.
Whether he turns the ball over or not, you know.
Now the line, it's only 4.5. Does that surprise you? Because like if you just told that to me, you know, gave me the game, and I'm just be like, okay, Niners by 6.5, 7. Maybe 7.5.
You know,
I would swallow the points to take the Niners. I think this 4.5 is low. I think it's
I think it's low.
That's
too.
what
I
I'm
think
saying.
it's
What's the over under?
4.5. It's
No.
over under is 46.5, and I think
That's high considering
the-
it's only 4.5 points.
I think
So-
the bettors are driving this numbers. It's an overreaction to how good the Vikings did against the Giants. I think that's what's happening.
Agreed.
But Vegas also set the line at 4.5. So maybe
Then they
Vegas
do that as a
says little
reaction to
something.
where
Yeah.
people are betting.
For sure. Yeah, no, they're trying to get 50%
Yeah, I wonder if it's
on both
if
sides.
It's
when
moved. Like if it's stretching farther out, or if it's contracting to 4.5. That's
Right.
I'd be curious. I would take the points and the Niners.
I would too.
It would really surprise me if they don't win this game by 10.
Yeah. Agreed.
Next up, we have we're all going Niners on that, right? Then
For sure.
Next up, we have Saints versus Cowboys. Saints are at plus 6.5, over under of 47, plus 235 if you're betting on the Saints, minus 290 if you're betting on the Cowboys.
Now, the Saints looked amazing last week. I mean, look what they did. It was incredible.
You could have just
That
said
is
that about
not
the Vikings.
going to be the case this week.
Yeah, you could have said that about the Vikings in the last game. So I thought that was interesting because we were talking about a little bit of an overreaction.
That's true.
To how well they performed, and the Saints, and people overreacting to like Kamara and Derek Carr. Those were really, really good weeks for them.
Yes.
Like sell high moments. What was the
Kamara, I
line
feel like-
on this one, Ray? I'm sorry.
The line is plus 6.5 for the Saints.
Okay.
6.5.
It surprises me that,
It's in Dallas.
it's in Dallas.
Okay.
So I guess, is that what the line would have been for the Vikings and Niners if it was in San Francisco, you think? Or would have been bigger?
Bigger. Yeah.
So
No. I mean, 6.5. Because it's 4.5 and they're in Minnesota. Do you think
Right.
it would have been more than 6.5 or like right around there? If
If it was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it would be a 7.5 line.
So as of last Sunday, the line was at 7 points. It shifted.
You're talking about for the
49ers with Minnesota.
so it's gone down.
Yeah, it's gone down. So it's a reaction to the Minnesota winning.
Yeah,
gotta be.
That's crazy.
So it was at 7 points.
And there's no injury news that we're missing. there,
CMC,
right?
but
yeah, but we knew that.
and they
And
were
Mason's
great
doing
on,
fine.
They were great on Monday against a great defense, or
Yeah.
a defense that we expect to be great this year. And the Jets, like they just went up and down the field all night long.
Yep. Yeah,
Purdy-
this week
Purdy's
is
awesome.
big for the Jets. This week is big for the Jets.
Agreed. So, yeah, I don't expect the Saints, the Saints and Derek Carr to have the same level of success against the Cowboys defense in Dallas.
They're going to have trouble moving the ball
So,
for
for
sure.
people who don't know, this is a rivalry game.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because of the region.
Okay.
So, in between Dallas and New Orleans, there's like a middle ground where there's a mix of Cowboys fans and Saints fans, and they're kind of scattered.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a rivalry thing, like here we've
Regional
got it doesn't make any
rivalry.
sense, but there's a regional rivalry between the Raiders and 49ers. Makes no sense.
Right.
No sense. That those two teams playing each other never means anything. But it does here to people.
Yeah.
And so it's similar to that over
Okay.
there in that area. So you have a lot of Saints fans that will travel to this game. So, like, if the Saints get up early and, like, there's a mistake, like Dak makes a mistake or something like that, and the Saints are able to get to, like, a 2-score lead, you see a situation where, like, it's loud in there, and it shouldn't be. But that happens in this particular matchup because
Gotcha.
of the crossover of fans.
Oh, good to know.
So it's a tough game for the Cowboys. It is. It's a real tough home opener. But that being said, I'm so happy that our home opener this year is a 10 a.m. Sunday morning game, because that never happens. We never get that. It's always some like either in prime time, or the 1 o'clock slate, and it's like the game of the week. And like for years it was Cowboys Giants. We would start like our first home game seemed to be against the Giants all the time when Eli was good, because it drives up ratings.
Of course.
And I've been saying for years that if Jerry Jones wants to have the same type of success that the Patriots had for all those years, play at 10 in the morning when nobody's looking. And the reason I say that is because one of the things that I feel as a Cowboys fan has happened to them over and over and over and over again is that they play these primetime games and random players have the game of their life. And the reason is because the lights are bright. It's time to show off. It's prime time. I'm playing against the Cowboys. It's on TV. Show out. So stop doing that. Like, play against the guys at 10 in the morning when they're fucking hungover, from partying all night in Dallas or whatever, and take advantage of them. Get those W's, dude. Stop worrying about the ratings and get the W's.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I know.
Come on now.
I know.
But your owner.
But when you look at the schedule for this season, they actually don't have a ton of primetime games. And some of the ones they do are against like the Giants, and the Giants are bad. Against the Commanders, and the Commanders are bad. So it's like,
why are those primetime?
Because of the markets, the media markets. New York, DC.
Gotcha. Yeah. Stupid East Coast.
Because, I mean, a primetime game between the Cowboys and the Giants just makes more money, a lot more money, than a primetime game between the Packers and the Vikings.
All right. Fair enough.
So are we all going Cowboys, or did you go Saints, Brian?
No, I'm going Cowboys. Which means
doesn't that just feel good to say?
They're going to lose now. I just cursed you. I'm telling you.
You do pick wrong a lot.
On the Cowboys. On the Cowboys, I do.
No, the Cowboys look good for season's first day out.
Yeah,
all right,
first week was good.
Next up, Chargers versus Panthers. Chargers are -5.5. The over/under is 39. -225 if you're betting on the Chargers. +185 if you're betting on the Panthers.
This feels like a monkey stomping to me. I think
the Chargers aren't good enough to monkey stomp anybody.
The Panthers, they are.
No,
I mean,
they're
the
not.
Panthers are horrible, bro. I think we find out a lot about Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins today. J.K. seemed to have about a 50-50 workload. Does that sound right?
They were split. Yeah. Dobbins was just much better with his half.
Right. So let's see what happens this week. Does
Gus
it go to
boring.
a 60-40?
I don't think so.
No?
No. Why would you? There's no reason to put, especially if you're having success, there's no reason to put extra stress on Dobbins, who's proven that he can't handle it. Gus isn't going to blow anybody away. I think it's going to be exactly like this all year long, where you're looking at somewhere between 9 and 12 carries for both of them every week. Every week that they're close, competitive, in the game. And then if they're not, that's when you want Dobbins. So I think if you expect the game to be, close, or they're going to win, like today, I'd rather have Gus.
It's going to be a Gus day.
I'd rather have him because you just expect they're going to be able to grind the clock out at some point, and that's the guy they're going to lean on. If they're going to be, chasing points, I think they're going to have more Dobbins on the field.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be excited about having either.
Fun fact about the Chargers versus the Panthers. is that the Carolina Panthers have historically had the upper hand in this matchup. Despite being an expansion team that started playing in 1995, the Panthers have won 6 out of 7 games against the Chargers as of 2023.
Wow.
The one Chargers win came in 2004 when they beat the Panthers 17-6 in Carolina. The two teams don't meet often since they're in different conferences, but the Panthers have consistently been a tough opponent for the Chargers.
Wow. How about that? I'm picking the Panthers.
Are you really?
No, I am. They're at home.
You are.
They're at home. The Chargers are not good. These are two bad teams. Okay.
Okay.
And I think the Panthers are a little better than they played last week.
I would hope.
I think that the way that we handle preseason now affects younger teams dramatically more than it affects veteran teams. The veteran teams don't need as much repetition of live action to know what they're doing and know what they have to do to be successful. The young teams do. So I think they will get better as the season goes along. And I'm not ready to shit can Bryce Young like everybody else is.
No, I mean, he's got this whole season to see what you can do. But if he doesn't improve, like, he's going somewhere. I mean, he won't be starting next year if he does that again.
Yeah, he'll be gone.
Yeah.
For like a 7th round pick swap.
Yep.
Like Fields.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Yep.
I was encouraged by the usage for Xavier Legette, rookie wide receiver for Carolina. That's something to watch out for because they're going to be behind a lot.
Yeah.
So if he's willing to throw to him already, that's something that could just get better. We just assumed Deontay would be the number 1 target or Thielen, but I think Legette might have had like 5 or 7 targets or something like that. It was pretty good.
I was very surprised that Deontay didn't get more work there. He didn't get more targets.
So Bryce is a short quarterback, and the areas of the field where Deontay is successful require Bryce to either understand that Deontay is going to be open or just trust that he's going to be open and throw the ball to an area because he's not going to be able to see him. He's not going to be able to see over his linemen and the defensive linemen and linebackers to see Deontay sitting open in a 5-yard radius or something like that.
How tall is he?
6 foot, even if that and that's like his listing, and they're very generous with quarterbacks. Like Kyler Murray's listed at 5'10". So, I think that is the issue because then you've got Legette is 6'3", I think something like that. He's over 6 foot for sure, and Deontay is under 6 foot or right at that. I think he's 5'10". I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So you're talking about 2 short guys, and it didn't work out very well for Kyler and Hollywood Brown, and that was a pair that we expected more from on both sides than Deontay and Bryce. You know what I'm saying? Kyler was a better quarterback than Bryce.
For sure.
And Hollywood Brown was a better looking asset than Deontay in terms of production, what we expected when they got paired together. So I don't expect much from that pairing.
Okay.
So you're going Chargers?
Yes.
Okay, so Ken is lone wolf in the Panthers.
Ooh, on Bryce Young. All right, let's do it,
Let's
Bryce.
see if
get
he's
him.
on the right side of history.
I feel like this is going to be a blowout, man. I want to put something on.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I just don't
really
think the
do.
Chargers can blow anybody out. I just don't. I don't think they can.
Not this season. Next up, we have the New York Jets versus the Tennessee Titans. New York Jets is -4. Over-unders at 41. -180 if you're betting on the Jets. +150 if you're betting on the Titans. Both teams are looking for their first win in this week, and it looks like the Titans have an edge historically 24-20 with one tie.
All right. Well, this is when we see if the Jets are for real. That basically, I mean, they should come out and smash here.
They need
and
to
if,
bounce back.
And if they don't,
big and win. Yeah, they need
that's
to win.
big time problems.
This is another game like I expect them to win by like 10 plus points.
Yes.
The 49ers are tough. So that was a really like tough first test for the Jets, but there were bright spots.
That front four was just getting to him the whole time. He had no time to do anything. So I think this is going to be a little different this week. We're going to see a little bit more what that offense can do.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree, and I think Garrett Wilson's going to have a monster game. Like, based
and
on
Breece Hall.
So that first drive for the Jets, Garrett Wilson was 4 catches for 40-some yards, right? And did he score the touchdown?
I don't think so.
No. Who scored the touchdown? Was it Breece?
I don't remember.
It was Breece. Yeah, Breece scored.
Yeah,
Breece
Breece scored a touchdown. Did they only score one?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it was just that first drive. But yeah, Garrett Wilson was like 4 targets, 4 catches, 40-something yards. And there's going to be games where they just do that multiple times per game. So I think he's going to have a handful of games this year where he catches 10-plus balls. You know, you're talking about 10-plus balls, 120-plus yards, and could score. Like,
well, and honestly, that's what we expect of him.
Right. Well, I shouldn't say expect. I think that's what we were hoping. Because, like, if you say expect, then he should have been drafted with CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. But he wasn't. He went in the next tier of guys, like, behind Puka for a lot of people.
Right.
And if he's going to have, like, based on what I saw, I feel like I saw everything I needed to see to feel like Garrett Wilson's going to be top 5 this year.
Right.
Like, unless something terrible happens injury-wise to one of them.
What could possibly happen?
I think he's going to have just a monster year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Makes me happy to hear that.
Yeah, for Iron Throne.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got him in a couple of places.
So did you guys make your picks? I missed it.
Jets, baby.
Jets to smash.
Yes. On the other side, man, Will Levis has to play better too.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think he can. I think they need to simplify their offense a little bit and get him on the move. Like, get him in some rolling pockets and stuff like that. So he's not just like dropping back and standing there. Use his, ability to your advantage. And because he's a mobile quarterback with a rocket arm. Just get him out on the edge. Don't let him stand back there and, get beat up. Tony Pollard
that was a surprise.
Had most of the work
Yep.
for the running backs. And
It looks
that
like
was
he's
one
the
of those,
clear number one.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And that was one of those splits that I was just like so iffy on this offseason that I didn't want any part of in terms of drafting.
Right.
I just or even like rostering for Dynasty. I've been off on both of them because I just don't know exactly how to value him and when to start him. But it looks like Tony Pollard is going to be a starter. So, like, if you got him, start him.
Feel confident, yeah. And if you have Spears, sit him on the bench and hope Pollard gets hurt. That's all you can do.
They have Ridley and Hopkins, and Treylon Burks still, like, has not done anything yet, but played 70% of the snaps.
Okay.
So, he's still out on the field.
That's all you can say for him. That's always good.
The guy that might be the most friendly weapon to Levis this year is Okonkwo, I think, the tight end. I like him a lot. He's huge. He's a big target. He's somebody that, like I was saying, they need to design some plays to get Levis out on the edge, like some stuff that's designed to go to the tight end as well. You stretch the defense a little bit, get him out on the edge, get the tight end crossing, across the field or something like that. And Okonkwo is perfect at running stuff like that because he's an after the yards after the catch type of tight end. Can run with the ball in his hand. But yeah, I think he could end up being the best weapon for
someone
the
to
team.
keep your eye on.
Yeah, for sure.
Who knows?
Yeah, if you're in tight end hell, like myself in our main league, lost Ferguson in week 1.
Yep.
And so I wasn't in great spot to begin with, and now it's even worse.
Streaming time.
Okonkwo is somebody you should be watching. See what he does.
Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Detroit Lions.
Oh, boy.
This is a good game.
The Buccaneers plus 7.5, 51.5 if you're betting on the over/under, plus 295 if you're betting on the Bucks, minus 375 if you're betting on the Lions. This is going to be the rematch from last
Division.
season.
Yeah, the Lions
where
are just
the Lions-
rerunning their playoff opponents from last
Lions
year.
knocked off the Bucks in the playoffs, and we're going to get to see what happens. One of these teams is going to get their loss, the first loss of the season.
I think it's going to be similar to the playoff game. The teams haven't
It's going to
really
be a
changed.
real good game, and
Yeah.
Detroit's
Well,
going to win.
Actually, I think Detroit is going to win going away in this one.
Okay.
Because Tampa Bay just got beat up in week 1. They lost like 3 cornerbacks in week 1.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So spoiler alert, I'm starting Jared Goff and Amon St. Brown in DFS today.
I got St. Brown, but I don't have Goff.
Same.
Goff at home against a defense that's decimated, like like this, and
like it.
coming off a big win. They're gonna. I think they're gonna roll. Like I like Jameson Williams in this game. I loved how they used him in week 1. Loved it.
Yep.
It was great because it wasn't. There's a lot of times where you'll look at like if you just look at box scores and stuff, you wouldn't be that impressed with what Jameson Williams did because you could subtract the touchdown, which are their touchdowns are kind of random,
For sure.
So if you subtract the touchdown, his stats are like I think he had 5 targets or something like that, but they were all design plays for him, and very repeatable because it wasn't like design plays for Gabe Davis, which are just 50-yard go routes. It was a lot of stuff where they were using the team's over coverage on Laporta and St. Brown to their advantage to get him open in space on opposite sides of the field, and it worked beautifully. And he's just like he's devastating. Like
And done purposefully, so that way, hey, letting the league know, you can double team our guys if you want to, but this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're going to have to deal with him too. Yeah, so super impressed. I was super impressed with the Lions. This is a really good team.
Yeah, I totally agree there.
Baker Mayfield was awesome though,
and that's what I think. I like that offense, at least for the first half. Like that offense for Tampa Bay, they're going to keep up. They're going to put some points, some yards up. If you're playing DFS, I love this game. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game.
Agreed.
So you probably want to have some pieces of it, or be stacking it because this is a good one. This is where the points are going to come from.
Yeah, I think the most exciting thing about for fantasy for the season for the Bucs was the fact that he found Godwin so well in week 1. And I know it was against Washington, but
this is something they were talking about too.
They were struggling, last year to get on the same page, him and Godwin. So for Godwin to have a game, I think it was like 8 targets, 8 catches, 80-something yards, and a score, it's like, yes.
They put him back in the slot, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
And I think that makes a big difference, obviously, and it makes Godwin more of a viable target this year as far as fantasy goes.
Yeah, agreed.
So
So that's exciting news if you're a Godwin manager, was how efficient they were in week 1. But yeah, I think the Lions are going to win.
Oh.
Okay, and Brian, your
breaking
pick?
news here. Breaking news. Wide receiver AJ Brown has been downgraded to out for tomorrow versus the Falcons. So I need a few minutes.
Okay, what was your pick on the Bucks and Detroit Lions game?
I'm going to take the Lions.
Okay, so AJ Brown is out.
Yes, he is.
And that's the
I'm
Eagles.
so glad we found out now. I mean,
Yeah.
that's big time for me.
Yeah, rather than tomorrow.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I expected. So cool.
I still wouldn't start Dotson.
Well, no, now I can put somebody better in.
Yeah, Devonta Smith, like he's going to have a monster game.
Yeah, I would say so.
Next up, we have the Indianapolis
Goddard
Colts
might have a good
versus
game.
the Green Bay Packers. The Colts are -3. Over-under is at 41.5, -142 if you're betting on the Colts, +120 if you are betting on the Packers. The Green Bay Packers have won 11 of their last home opener games, but can they overcome Jordan
11
Love?
straight?
Yep.
They've
Can
won 11 straight home openers?
Yes. But can they overcome Jordan Love being out
Nope.
to
I don't think
continue
so
the
either.
streak?
And actually, this is the lone wolf team that I was like that hurt the most was the Colts losing to the Texans because I felt like I was right on that one. I was on the right track, and they were so close, and they just couldn't make it happen. I think they'll win today.
For sure. Like I'm sorry. I've seen Malik Willis play. I am not excited to see that. I am sorry, Green Bay. I'm sorry if you have any piece of that Green Bay offense. I don't want any piece of it until Jordan Love comes back.
Are you surprised they didn't make a move on quarterback? Tannehill's out there.
I know. I was very surprised. So, maybe they have confidence in Malik. Maybe they should change him around. Who knows? But
They could have
I'm not
traded for
betting on that.
Jameson Winston, They could have,
Jameis.
they could have traded for Flacco.
True. I think they will next week.
Yeah, right?
After they see Malik play here. Bench everybody from Green Bay and
Yep.
Indy.
Except for Jacobs, maybe.
Jacobs, I think you have to start.
Mixon, Mixon
because
was
he's
so
gonna get the
good
work, but-
against this Colts defense that there's no way I wouldn't start Josh Jacobs.
Yeah,
So, but the rest of them I don't want.
agreed.
I don't know if I'll be dropping them, but
Now, Indy.
Adonai Mitchell, baby. I was so excited. We were so close twice. He was open, and
Okay.
Richardson just barely missed him for 40+ yard scores. And so I'm excited. He had 5 targets in his first game, and he's supposed to be like an afterthought in the offense. So I'm excited to see I'm curious. I shouldn't say excited because I'm like a little weary now that Josh Downs is going to be back, seeing what his usage is going to be like. But I am curious to see if he maintains a certain level of usage and continues to get those deep shots, because he's that part of the offense that they haven't had, is that guy can just really take the top off and also win in 50-50s. So he's in my opinion, Adonai Mitchell's a special player, but not everybody shares that opinion.
Yeah, we'll see what the Colts think.
Yeah.
So Pittman, of course, we're starting.
I mean, you should be excited for what you saw
Pittman?
from Richardson and Pittman and Jonathan Taylor in week 1 for sure. Yeah.
Excited about Taylor too.
The white one. There we go. I forgot to turn the AC on. You guys didn't call me on it.
Oh, oops.
Didn't notice.
Yeah. I did.
You guys didn't notice?
No.
Oh, that's good. That's an upgrade, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
The weather's getting better too.
I mean, I'm higher on Taylor than I am Pittman in terms of like his rank among running backs versus Pittman's rank among receivers.
But I mean, he had a bad line week 1, so I'm throwing it out there because I want people to have confidence.
Am I
Look, that's not going to happen
misremembering? I think he just
every week.
didn't score.
His fantasy points were low. Oh, you're checking.
No,
to
he
see
did
how
score.
low?
He just didn't catch the ball at all. And that's so if you want to be concerned about something, like we kind of expected that. Like we were worried that Anthony Richardson might steal some like goal line carries from him, but we expected there not to be a whole lot of receiving work for Taylor, because it's with rushing quarterbacks, running backs don't get a whole lot of receiving work. That's just we know that industry standard.
More breaking news here.
Oh boy.
Jacksonville tight end Evan Ingram sustained a hamstring injury in pregame warm-ups. He is out.
In pregame warm-ups?
Pregame warm-ups.
Jesus.
Who?
Evan Ingram.
All right. So,
So-
Brian Thomas Jr. to the moon.
Yeah, let's hope, man.
I think I have him in my DFS again.
I think I do
Brian
too,
Thomas?
actually. Well, I don't know.
I don't have him this
I remember looking at his name, but I don't know if I put him in.
He's
don't
only
have him.
4,800 on DraftKings. So, all right.
Shit.
Next
Next game?
Yeah, we
You guys
picked
all
the
pick Colts?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Next game up, we got New York Giants versus Washington Commanders. Plus 1.5 for the New York Giants. 42.5 is the over/under. Plus 105 if you're betting on the Giants. Minus 125 if you're betting on the Commanders. Every simulation has the Washington Commanders winning this game over the Giants. Giants have lost 7 of their last 8 road games, but Daniel Jones has historically done well against the Commanders.
All right. Well, I think Daniel Jones is going to do well against the Commanders today.
He might do well, but he's not going to win.
I think that Malik Neighbors is going to have himself a day.
Oh, so Brian's going Giants, huh?
I am going Giants.
you can lone wolf
I
that
think
one.
this is the game where everyone looks at Malik Neighbors and goes, "Wow, maybe he should have gone on first overall or first among the."
He
wide
played
receivers."
100% of the snaps.
Yes, and he's going to be that guy for New York. Like everything is going to go through him. This offense goes through him.
Except for all those targets that go to Wandale.
right. So I mean,
It was 12.
I agree. Like, but do you think that's going to stay the case?
Yeah.
Like, did you go out and pick up Wando?
I did.
Did you?
I did.
All right. Do tell. Like, why do you think that?
Well, I was excited about Wandale towards the end of last year.
Okay.
You know, when he was getting healthy and he was already starting to take targets away from people. I don't think their offense can be very good, and that's the thing is I just don't expect them to score touchdowns. So I think
Against this defense, though?
huh?
This week, against this defense.
Oh, this is a great week to play Wandale,
Right. Well,
It is.
anything. I think
and
that.
I would rather start Wandale than Neighbors. I'm not. That's not now. Now that's
Wow.
not something I'm gonna make like a bet on. Because
You saw my eyes light
because I
up?
think-
Oh.
yeah, because I think that Neighbors is the one who's more likely to have a game where it's like 100 yards and a touchdown. But I expect Wandale to have like 7, 8 catches, 60 plus yards, and maybe score. So, like, I expect Wandale to have north of 12 points today,
Interesting.
which
Okay.
is a starter. You know,
No,
in,
it
in
is.
3 wide receiver leagues,
Yeah.
you're starting that guy.
For sure.
So, yes,
Interesting.
yeah, and this happens all the time. You know, we get all excited about first round draft picks, and then you forget that they've already got capital invested in another player at the same position. And Wandale is a high pick, if I remember correctly.
How many years ago?
2.
Just 2?
I think it's 23, 24.
Well, I'm just that wide receiver room until Malik Neighbors got there was just a bunch of number 3 wide receivers that you.
Wandale was hurt a lot. Let me check.
Okay, so if he's just had a couple injury-filled years and now he's getting healthy,
Yeah, he's 23. This is his 3rd year. He played.
wow, he came in young. Okay,
He played 6 games in his rookie year, and he played 15 last year, and he had 78 targets, 60 catches, 525 yards, and only 1 score. So he's not a high yard per target, yard per catch guy. He's going to run a lot of those Wes Welker type routes, but he's also the guy that can have like 12 catches in a game. Whereas I think Neighbors is going to struggle to do anything like that. Like
Well,
he can
and
easily have like a 7-catch, 100-yard touchdown game, and I fully expect him to do it at some point. And Washington's definitely bad enough that it could happen today. But if I had to start one or the other, I would probably lean Wandale.
interesting.
And I mean, unless Yeah, I would probably lean Wandale because we're not talking about like a Monday night situation. Maybe if my opponent like had James Cook and Achan from Thursday,
Right.
and I'm down 60
Now
or something
you're
like that,
playing neighbor.
and I need the
Yeah,
guy
I get you.
and I need the guy who can get 30. I think that's more likely to be neighbors. But the guy who I expect to score 12 plus points more times this season is Wandale.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's a hot
That's a
take
bet I would
because-
make. Like season long, like who scores 12 plus points more, I would do that bet.
Wandale versus.
Yes, I would do that.
Put it on the board. I'll take that.
All right, we got a hat bet.
No, this is a
season
season-long Bowmore bet.
Are you guys all caught up with your season longs from last season?
I don't know. You'd have. Do we have a chart?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, we had some off-season stuff. We took care of all
Yeah,
that.
I think we.
Okay.
Yeah, we got.
All right,
drunk.
so I'm going to clear that board then. I'm going to clear that board, and we got a season long coming up. Let's see here. And we got Brian. You have who?
Neighbors.
Is that spelled traditionally?
NABERS.
N-E what? N-A.
B-E-R-S. N-A-B-E-R-S.
E-R-S. Neighbors. Oh, got it. And Ken, you got who?
And I have Wandale. W-A-N-D-A-L-E.
D-A-L-E. I almost spelled that right.
And
The bet is
12-point performances.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. I got to make a comment here. And it's what?
12-point performances.
who has more.
Who has more 12-point performances? Got it. On the board.
Right on. All right. So on the other side of the ball, Washington, I mean, do we want to start anybody other than Daniels? Maybe McLaurin? Maybe Brian Robinson? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I actually, I would hate to be in a position to have to start Terry McLaurin. That'd be terrible.
yeah. I mean, but there's going to be a lot of people in that position because
Agreed.
Going
start
in,
someone else. Start Wandale. I would rather start Wandale than Terry McLaurin for sure.
now is that a this week thing or is that just a Jordan
Season
Daniels
long
thing?
right now. I think that Jaden Daniels thing. That's the offense and the offense. I think Terry McLaurin does not fit that offense at all. That was something that I don't think we took into account really, and actually, it really makes the Commanders look kind of foolish in my opinion because Jahan Dotson is a much better receiver prototype for the type of offense that Kingsbury wants to run in terms of like all that short stuff. McLaurin's a speedster.
Right.
Like he's a Formula One car. You got to get him out and let him fly. Like you can't run these little negative 1 yard screen plays and stuff like that. That's not his game. He's not a tackle breaker. He's not a ball in his hand, make guys miss, yards after the catch guy. That's never been McLaurin. McLaurin is the guy, he can win 50-50s in strange ways because he's not huge. He's
just
like
look
6 foot
amazing
even.
doing it,
Yeah, like he has the ability to go up and get balls. He has great sideline awareness. He has amazing speed. He has great hands. He's not necessarily like a stop-start, dazzling runner. So I don't like it at all. I think it's going to be bad.
Does Daniels have an arm? I mean, can he get it to him downfield?
It's not that he doesn't have an arm. I think he's running an offense that is probably very unfamiliar to him because when he played at LSU, he's playing with guys like Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. and, guys like that who are winning downfield. And so he would drop back a lot, go first read, oh, shoot, not there, scramble around, and maybe throw the ball to somebody. But they're downfield. So, like, if your main target is, like, at the line of scrimmage, but on the opposite side of the field or something like that, that's just not a positive play. And so I don't like that combination. I don't like the combination of Cliff Kingsbury, his offense, and Jaden Daniels. I don't think it's a great combo at all.
Interesting. So who do you think's going to win the game? I got the Giants.
The Giants were so bad. They were so bad at home that I want to pick the Commanders. I do. And I think, and I'm going to.
Okay.
Because I think the Commanders are going to be smart and they're going to lean on the best parts of their offense, and that's the running backs.
All right.
And
What
so
about you, Ray?
I'm going Commanders.
I think
All right.
if you're in a tough spot,
My lone wolf.
like let's say you lost CMC and you didn't get Mason, I think either of these running backs for Washington, if they're available to you, are fine starts.
All right. We shall see. Who we got next?
Next up, we have the Seahawks versus the Patriots. Seahawks are minus 3.5. The over-under's at 38. Minus 170 if you're betting on the Seahawks. Plus 142 if you are betting on the Patriots. Today is going to be celebrating their 10th anniversary. Patriots are beating the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
2014, yeah.
No, there you go.
This is the game I don't want to pick. Of
Really?
all the ones, this is the one I feel like I'm going to be wrong on no matter who I pick. I'm going to pick the Patriots at home.
Oh, wow. Okay.
East Coast team at home, morning slate against a West Coast team. Lines up real well.
That is a thing.
It's their home opener. They're coming off a big win
Yep.
in Cincinnati. I think they're going to have some energy. And I just don't think Seattle is very good. I think they got to play at home against Denver to start the season. They're playing without Ken Walker today, who was the best part of their offense
That's
by
a big
far.
thing.
I thought this was going to be my lone wolf.
Oh, the Patriots? Mm-hmm. Oh, really? That's funny.
I think I lone wolfed on the Patriots a lot last season, to be honest.
Didn't work out for you.
Yeah, I didn't at all.
I'm going to go ahead and take the favorite here. I do like Seattle, and I just think it's because they're the better team. They're going to find a way to win. I don't have anything other to say other than that. They got the better weapons. That defense for New England, though, definitely scares me.
I'm surprised because they've just subtracted so many pieces from that defense. But Gerard Mayo was a really good football player in his day and got a head coaching job really fast. So and usually when that happens, there's something to that,
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how their team grows and how well they play. And I mean, Jacoby Brissett is just a solid quarterback. He's not going to make a whole lot of mistakes, like if any. So you just don't expect him to turn the ball over. They ran the ball really well against Cincinnati. So I expect them to be able to do that again against Seattle at home, and that's why I expect them to win. I expect them to be able to run the football.
There you go.
Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Plus 3, over-unders 41.5, plus 142 if you're betting on the Browns, minus 170 if you are betting on the Jags. You guys went too fast for me to find a fun fact for the game.
So how many more games do we have left, by the way?
4, maybe?
This is it for the AM games, and then
Okay.
we're going to move on to the afternoon games, which is 3, and then the evening game, and the Monday and the Thursday.
Okay, so 6.
Right on. I'm just trying to make sure we have time for everything.
Yeah.
But here, Cleveland. What is Cleveland? I feel like Cleveland is a good team, and I think they're going to come back and show it. But
Cleveland, good team.
I don't want them to
bet
be.
now.
I don't want them to be. I hope they're horrible.
It's hard to say after week 1. Yeah. We don't know. I don't think we know what Cleveland is yet. And the fact that they lost Njoku, which is like a important, cog in their offense, like he's a real.
When Flacco's the quarterback.
No, Watson too. Watson targets him pretty highly.
It's definitely lower with Watson.
All
Quite
the
a bit
volume of passing is lower with Watson
lower. That's fair.
because he runs. He'll still run. I expect them to be better than they were last week, but they still might not win today.
It's a tough call.
Yeah, it is a tough call.
Well, and Jacksonville's the favorite, right?
They should be. They're at home.
Yeah, they're at home. I think they're 3-point favorites. So
But neither team has their tight end today.
yeah,
So
as we just
it's
learned,
gonna be
Ingram's
interesting.
out too.
So-
I like Cleveland though. I think Cleveland's the best. Again, I like at this time of year, you just don't know, and so I'm going to take the team that I felt was going to be good going in, and have confidence in my reads from before the season, and say, okay, we don't have enough data. I'm going to pick what I think is the better team. And
Me
I'm gonna go
too.
with Cleveland.
And that's why I'm picking Jacksonville.
Fair.
You're going Cleveland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he lone wolfing again?
Yes.
Wow.
There you go.
Is Bezzy out there?
No, and if he is, he's not talking. All right. Next up, it's not quite 9:30. So next up is the Rams versus the Cardinals. Rams -1. We were talking about this, and we were talking about this before I even saw the lines. But the Rams -1, over unders 47.5. -112 if you're betting on the Rams, -108 if you're betting on the Cardinals. So you got a minus money line on both teams. Don't see that very often. Sean McVay has put a record of, let me see here. He's won 13 out of the last 15 meetings against the Cardinals.
I feel like they struggle in Arizona, though.
And Kyler Murray's only won 1 out of the last, or he has a 1-7 record against Rams during
Lifetime.
McVay's tenure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Ding. I feel like this is going to be the most fun game of the day for fantasy football.
It does feel like a fun one. And as far as DFS goes, like the Rams, everybody is underpriced. Everyone. Like you can start any of the Rams in DFS and be very happy. So put some Rams in your lineups this week. Seriously.
Yeah. Just make sure it's Tyler Johnson over DeMarcus Robinson.
Yeah, and we were talking about that. That's an interesting take. DeMarcus is the more
let's ask-
established. Yeah, let's ask a
Ray.
Ram fan.
Who's going to score more points today in fantasy? DeMarcus Robinson or Tyler Johnson?
You know, everything projected for Johnson, but I don't see him getting enough targets. Yeah, probably Johnson.
Okay.
I'd say Johnson. Yeah.
I say in real life, I took the Robinson side, and DFS, I think I took the other because he's cheap.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, this guy picked up Robinson when Tyler Johnson was sitting there as well, and I was like, well, that's an issue.
Tyler Johnson's still sitting out there. I'm
No,
sure.
he got picked up.
Really? By
Steve
who?
has him.
Shocking.
Well, Steve watches football.
We'll see, man. I'll be happy if he makes my DFS team blow up, but other than that, I don't know. We'll see.
What's up?
Sorry,
What are
I'm
you
So
trying to find
we didn't
injuries
pick
here.
yet.
Nope, we did not.
We have not picked
I mean,
this game
obviously,
yet.
I picked the Rams, but
yes, honor bound.
that's what's
Man.
different about us and other podcasts. Another thing that's different. We stay true to our honor.
Yeah,
Mostly.
we're not
Most of the
stat,
time.
we're not stat patters over here. Okay. Man, this one's tough. This one's really tough.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, a divisional game. Always hard to call there, but I'm going to go with the Rams. Man.
Me too.
Just again, the better team, I think.
Yeah, I think they are.
Well, if that one wasn't exciting enough for you, we have Kansas City Chiefs versus not quite 9:30. So we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Bengals. Bengals are +6.5. The over/under is 48. +235 if you're betting on the Bengals, and -290 if you're betting on the Chiefs. And it looks like Mahomes has lost 3 of his last 4 games against Joe Burrow, but I think this is
Burrow owns them.
this might be the turning point and where this matchup starts to level out, and we start seeing the Chiefs start pulling away, or Mahomes starts pulling away from Burrow.
Yeah, I expect them to win today for sure, but I think that Cincinnati will look better than they did last week. Of course, how could they look worse? But
they could. They're playing at Kansas
Arrowhead,
City.
yeah. So I hope they get trounced again. God, that'd be beautiful.
I think they will.
Yeah.
You think the Bengals are going to win?
No.
No.
No, I do not at all.
I misunderstood that conversation entirely.
That's a 1:00 game?
This is a 1:00. It was not quite 1:00. It's
That's a
1:25.
That's a weird 1:00 game.
Why is that? I mean, it should be high. It should have high interest, Burrow versus Mahomes and all that.
Just because of where they are. Like, why not just make it the primetime game?
What is the primetime game?
The primetime game is
Houston,
Bears
Chicago?
in Houston.
Oh, my God. That's terrible.
I agree with you.
See?
I agree.
Those should have been swapped.
Those should have been swapped. That's bad.
Oh, man. What are you doing, NFL? What are you doing? Chicago at Houston, week 2, Sunday Night Football? That's terrible.
Caleb Williams,
Dude, and then the Monday
Stroud,
night game-
the future.
The Monday night game is bad, too. And it feels like they do this every year. Week 2 in Philadelphia. Doesn't it feel like they do that every year?
I don't
Monday
know,
Night
man.
Football, week 2, Philly. Like, last year it was, I think Minnesota was the team they played last year, week 2. But it feels like it happens every year. They're in Philly early in the season. Anyway, but Atlanta and Philly. So those are 2, like, missable games. You can skip those. Do something with your family, It's football season. There's not a whole
week
lot
2,
of
man.
opportunities
No way.
to skip football games. So
My family's going to have to wait until like week 6 or 7 when, things start to mellow out. This is week 2, man.
if I was your family, I'd be holding that against you. If you're like, we're going to miss out on something because you want to watch the Bears and Texans tonight.
Actually, I am excited to watch that one. I want to watch Stroud. I want to watch Williams. I want to see. There's a lot of information there in that game, and I want to
I guess
actually
that's why
watch
it's
it,
the
not just
primetime
get the
game,
highlights.
is because C.J. Stroud versus
Yeah,
Caleb Williams.
for sure, yeah.
Back to back should have been number 1 overall draft picks.
Right. Yeah, the 2 future quarterbacks. Yeah,
That's something that I just feels better. Feels like every day is that call of like pulling my hair out at like why people were gonna select Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud, because I couldn't get it. Still don't get it, and feels good. Feels good now.
yeah, feels good.
So
and
that
Houston's
being said,
gonna
we're way
feel good.
off topic.
Yeah,
We're talking about
Houston's
supposed to be
gonna
talking about
feel
the
great.
Bengals and Chiefs.
What?
I
I thought we called that one.
I think we all went Chiefs, right?
So they put Hollywood Brown. Oh yeah, we're all picking the Chiefs. The Hollywood Brown is on IR, I think.
Yes.
And so,
Actually, no. He's out for the year.
nuh-uh.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got season-ending surgery.
Wow. Anyway,
Who's this?
not that we.
Hollywood Brown.
I mean, people should be thankful that happened, and so early, because if you were foolish enough to be like on that train still, now you can hop off. Week 2, limited amount of damage. Like if you were someone who started him or something like that, week 1.
Drop him. Go find
Yeah.
yourself some
Or try to.
Wandale or something.
Yeah,
Wandale Robinson.
Wandale should not be on the waiver wire. Should not. Wandale Robinson should not be on the waiver wire.
All right. That's a good take.
Yeah.
I wanna-
Xavier Worthy. When you subtract Hollywood Brown from that wide receiver room, he becomes to me a much more attractive season-long play than what I was expecting. Now I don't expect him to score twice, very very often, but
Yeah, that
I
was
think
nice.
that his usage could actually increase. And he scored twice, and his fan. If you just look at the box score, it's like, oh yeah, sweet, first round wide receiver, scores 18, 19 points in his first game, start him again. But if you looked at what actually happened, he didn't get very many opportunities. So you got to be hopeful that that increases if you're a worthy guy. I was very, very pleased with Raishi Rice, someone I've been extremely high on, the entire time. People were just automatically, taking Worthy over him in like Dynasty.
Oh, okay.
Not season long, but Dynasty. Right away, Worthy came out and got drafted by the Chiefs and was more valuable in trades than Raishi Rice. And I was just like, how? Like, Raishi Rice is awesome. Just awesome. And
everyone's
they're
worried
different
about
players.
the suspension. He has a suspension looming, and
But
people
for
are probably
Dynasty,
weighing
I'm
it
talking
a
about
little
Dynasty,
bit.
though.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. They're probably weighing it too heavily.
Way too heavily. Like that. I mean, you're talking about like 4 games in over the scope of a career. Like,
And in Dynasty, you can look at it like this guy's a knucklehead. You know what I mean? This might not be his only suspension. He might pull in an Antonio Brown or something like that.
well, I mean, once upon a time, the Chiefs had Tyreek Hill.
Right. No, I'm just throwing out the I'm a Rice owner. I'm on the same side. I'm throwing the other side out there. Like, this is what can be said.
But that being said, I'm high on Raishi Rice. I did trade him this week.
For?
I packaged him with Ramondre Stevenson
Okay.
and got Brees Hall.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. I mean,
That's redraft.
I like it.
That's redraft.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I would be too.
My running backs are now Brees Hall, Ken Walker, and Isaiah Pacheco.
All right.
And I have
Oh,
Jordan.
that's it. Yeah.
And I have Jordan Mason, and I have Brooks on IR. So, feeling strong about the running backs this year. And usually that's where my team is weak, is running back. So that feels good.
Cool
Do
deal.
you have a 9:30 update?
Any new injuries? We've been updating all episode
As we go,
long,
yeah.
So
And we all picked Kansas City Chiefs on that one, right?
we did. There's no reason to pick the Bengals in this game, other than that, Burrow is Mahomes' daddy.
We're gonna find out.
No, it's just funny because they don't play against each other. It's not like Mahomes is out there it's not like in basketball or something like that where they're actually one-on-one against each other. But yeah, it's funny that Burrow is like the only guy in the league to have the better of Mahomes. Because I imagine Mahomes has a winning record against like everybody.
Probably does, except for Jared Goff.
Except for Jared Goff.
Yeah, he might not against Jared Goff. I'm not sure though.
I remember that was one of my favorite games. Was that
I don't know how many times he's played against
the
Jared Goff.
Thursday night game, 54-51 a few years
Mexico?
ago?
I think it was in Mexico. No, it was
No.
supposed to be in Mexico. And then
Was it supposed to be?
Yeah,
Really?
and then they had
'Cause they played in
last,
LA.
They had a last minute change it to LA for some reason. I can't remember what it was. Mexico City couldn't handle it or something.
Pollution, probably. That's a big problem. In
Whatever it
Mexico
was.
City.
It's supposed to be like neutral ground.
Air
that was the
quality.
whole thing. You got anything for us, Brian?
Nope.
I'm not seeing anything new. We announced the big ones with Ingram and AJ Brown.
We do have a question.
Hey, what do
Whoa.
we got?
Josh Palmer or Jahan Dotson
Palmer.
with a AJ Brown out?
Yeah, you got to take Palmer there.
Yeah. You're talking about
Dotson, you just don't know what's going to happen. Palmer is the main focus of that offense.
Yeah, he just got
I go
kicked out
Palmer.
early last week for fighting. But I would still play him.
Thank you, Mimsy, with the question. I think you're a first-time question asker of the channel.
thank
Don't
you.
forget to subscribe. And we're also on Spotify. All right, so next up we have, let's see, we have Pittsburgh Steelers versus Denver Broncos. Pittsburgh is -3. Over-unders at 36.5. -155 if you're betting on the Steelers. +130 if you're betting on the Broncos. Not really anything fun facty about this one, except for the Broncos were allowed the third most rushing yards. So if you have Najee Harris,
Yep.
Tee him
might
up.
be his
I
exploding
do
game.
in DFS.
Oh, do you?
Oh yeah.
I was actually deciding between him and Mason in one of my
I
they're-
started both.
Oh, well, they're in the same price range.
Yes,
so it's like-
exactly. They are. So yuck.
sorry, what was the point spread?
Minus 3. Yep, -3.
Steelers?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. On the
36
road in
point
Denver.
over
Yeah,
under.
That's Steeler football, baby.
And that's too high. I'm serious. It's probably too high.
Well, I mean, it was 18-10 last week.
Yeah.
28 points. So,
yeah, like you guys
may
would
not
have
be
to have an
wrong.
offensive explosion to go over 30. That's like 3 more field goals.
Yeah, and Justin Fields has another week in, a little bit more familiar with the offense. We probably will score, 1 touchdown instead of 6 field goals this time. So I can see us
Maybe.
getting up into the 20s.
Maybe. Oh yeah, but the
But I
Broncos
can't
won't
see
score.
Denver score
Yeah, no,
more
I
than 10.
Yeah, I don't either. That's exactly where I see them scoring around. It's like 10 points. So if you're talking about like Broncos, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Like maybe Cortland Sutton scores the touchdown.
Just Bo Nix versus that defense. This is going to be fun to watch. I can't wait.
I like Bo
I'm
Nix.
excited.
I like Bo Nix. So.
Not today, you won't.
No,
but
not today. He's at home though, right?
Yep.
Broncos are at home.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this thing is.
Steelers are on the road back-to-back weeks. Start the season.
I thought it was
I'm not sure. It doesn't really tell me.
It looks that way.
That's,
The bottom team.
that's what I think
usually
too.
home.
Yeah, that's what I think
we're
too.
on the road.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Next-
As far as starters go, I mean, we talked about the running backs.
You start Najee. You're gonna start Pickens more than likely if you're in a 3 wide receiver league. If I'm in a 2 wide receiver league, I'm trying not to start him. But if I'm in 3, I'm probably starting him.
I think Pickens overall this year is going to be pretty good. This
he
week,
was great in week 1.
right? I agree.
He was great.
That's what I'm saying. This week, though, what's the cornerback that's on him? I mean, he's like the number
Surtain.
one. Yeah, Sertan's on him.
Yeah.
and Sertan travels,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I'm just
Yes,
like,
he will.
I don't know about Pickens, but I love the move.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
love
saying I'm
Freiermuth
excited
this
about
week.
it, but I'm still starting him. You're still starting Pickens in a 3 wide receiver league. You're probably not sitting him for somebody. The people you're sitting him for at that point, we're talking about wide receivers like in the 30s range in terms of rank. We're talking about let's see. Would you sit him for Palmer?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. You just ride with Pickens because, he's good enough that he could still just make, even if it makes 1 play,
Yeah, it's rough though. Just hard to expect a lot out of him.
Yeah,
today,
no, I'm
so.
with you. I don't. I'm just saying that's normally he's higher on my list than that.
Yes.
So he's like a borderline starter. So like if you were like counting on George Pickens, you could be in trouble.
Yes.
But other than that, and he's probably the most exciting fantasy asset in the game still, because you don't expect is this
Najee.
Is this a 2 touchdown game for Najee? Because if it's not, then he's just not exciting. Because
Right.
he's like you.
But I think
La-
that's what we're saying is this can be a 2 touchdown game for Najee.
It could be. I agree.
This is that environment where
I agree.
we're
That's
just
why
going
I've
to
started
run
him
the
in
crap out of
DFS.
So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I think we were
Steelers.
all going Steelers, right?
They are.
Yep.
Yeah. Broncos suck.
And
Agreed.
for the evening game, we have Chicago Bears versus the Houston Texans. Chicago Bears plus 5.5, over under at 45, plus 190 if you're betting on the Bears, and minus 230 if you're betting on the Texans.
This is the last game of the day too.
Right.
Sunday game anyway. There's no way I would bet on the Bears.
Yeah. They look bad. Their defense
They
looked
are.
great.
Their defense
their
has
special
improved.
teams look great.
Their defense
but
has
their
improved.
offense was whoa.
But I wouldn't be going crazy over, over week 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking Houston here. The weapons aren't going to score like they did last week, but they're going to score and they're going to do well. And I look forward to Stroud having another victory here. God, I like watching him play, man. So much fun. Plus, I want to see if he can really support 3 wide receivers this year, which that's what everyone's counting on. So we'll see.
He kind of did it in week 1.
Exactly.
So
He did do it in week 1.
Yeah, he
so.
got 6+ targets to all 3 of those guys.
Yep.
And that's really all you can ask for. I was a lot less impressed with Diggs than some other people were. Like because you remove the 2 touchdowns and it's like 6 for 33 or something like that. And I think that's what his season is going to be. Is he's going to be like the short area option. So if you have Diggs, I'd be looking to sell.
Off the 2 touchdowns. Yeah, sounds good.
Whoa. Staring at the guy who has Diggs in our league.
Oh, and
Hold on.
Adunze is looking to play this tonight. So that's something that I saw earlier. So
That's good.
Will probably play.
That's good.
So.
I think it's funny. I think Keenan Allen is going to end up being the best receiver you could have off the team.
All right.
So next up, Monday Night Football, Atlanta Falcons versus Philadelphia Eagles. Plus 5.5 if you're betting on the Falcons. Over-unders at 46, plus 200 if you're betting on the Falcons. Minus 245 if you're betting on Eagles.
Never bet on Kirk Cousins in primetime. And you'll be fine.
Yeah, and Eagles look good. I think they're going to look good again.
Just in Brazil. Eagles are on 9 days of rest.
Oh, this is in Brazil?
What?
Wait.
Uh-uh.
No. The
They
last
weren't.
one.
No, they were in
Yeah,
Brazil
no,
for
no.
the
Yeah,
Packers.
Oh, and that's
Last
right.
one
That's
was-
right.
They're
I'm
coming
reading
back
that
from
wrong.
Brazil.
Coming back from Brazil on a 9-day rest.
Yeah.
Had me wondering there for a second. They have so many international games. I'm like, wait, this one too? No. But,
And the Falcons have Kirk
Give me
Cousins.
Philly.
Yeah. Even without A.J. Brown, give me Philly.
Yep.
I think that just means that Barkley is going to have a monster game.
Agreed.
Again, it's good for one of my dynasty teams. My half PPR 1 QB dynasty team has needs some help because we have Tyreek Hill and we're in trouble now. And we didn't talk about that. I think we should probably talk about that a little bit.
Talk about what?
After we're done picking games, talk about Thursday night's game.
Well, that's next. Thursday's game's next.
I mean, the one that just happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So next Thursday.
Next Thursday? You want me to read Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay, so Thursday we have Pats versus the Jets. Plus 7 if you're betting on the Patriots, which might actually be a good bet. Over-unders 39.5, plus 240s on the money line. Minus 298 if you're betting on the Jets. So Jets are favored.
I am going to pick the Jets in this game.
Yeah, I'll take the Jets too.
Yeah. Can't really make too many other comments at this point. I would just say that, like, it's entirely possible that we get to that game and the Patriots are 2-0 and the Jets are 0-2.
Yeah, historically
That'd
the Patriots have won 15 straight games against the Jets.
Yeah, they're in much different spots now in terms of, like,
Betting against
expectations.
history. And Aaron Rodgers, I think, is just kind of bound to pick it up at some point.
Yeah, I agree. So, what do you guys think about Tua? Is he done?
He says he's not, but yeah, I think he'll come back this year at some point. I mean, I don't know how many weeks that's going to take, but I tell you what, I've seen him get 3 concussions, 3 bad concussions.
We've seen him get thrashed.
And each time, it doesn't seem like it seems like if it was another quarterback, they wouldn't have gotten a concussion. Like especially this last one.
That's what I'm saying. It was just like, wait a minute, he's down? Why is he down?
Exactly.
It was just like a ordinary, like, player crashes into other player, falls down situation. But it's just like, when I was watching it, I told my girl, I was like, his body just doesn't agree with playing football. He's just not built for this. He needs to stop.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. This might be his last year. And if he does come back and he does get another concussion, I mean that's a career ender for sure.
Yes.
So yeah, Tua, that makes things very interesting there in Miami.
It does. It really changes things because they've got so much invested in their in the pieces that around the quarterback, that the quarterback going down is just tragic. They're going to have to get Tannehill. Honestly, how awesome would it be though if they got Jameis Winston? Huh?
That'd be fun.
Jameis Winston with
Yeah, in that
Tyreek Hill
offense, yeah.
and Jalen Waddle. Whoa, that would be fun.
That would be fun.
They should do that. That was
All kinds of points.
so many points for both
For
teams.
both teams, yes.
I love Jameis Winston actually. Like
for fantasy,
he's one of
amazing.
my favorite follows on Instagram. He's a funny guy, always having fun, and just seems like he's generally like a fun human being. So yeah, that was terrible for fantasy football prospects. Is Tua going down hurts a lot.
A lot.
But man, how awesome was Achan?
Oh, dude. Why'd they keep giving him the ball?
I don't know.
hell?
Their whole team was like, okay, we're done for the night, but they're still handing the ball off to Achan. I'm like, what's going on? Where's Jalen Wright? I don't know. And they didn't say anything about him getting hurt. And I know that Achan handled some more work because Jeff Wilson got hurt. But I mean, if you're out of the game, give it to the rookie. Save your stud,
Yeah.
But fantasy managers had to be super happy
Exactly.
because in a game where he didn't score a touchdown, right? Did he score a touchdown? No, he did.
I think so.
Yeah, he ended up with like 30 points though. In a game where their offense only scored one touchdown. So
I was wondering about, you did a trade in the middle of the game games in week 1.
yeah, I did.
And it like showed me that my opponent had already just given up on the game against me. And he wasn't down that much. He had 2 players.
You were playing against Chris, right?
He had 2 players left, and I basically had none because Christian McCaffrey was out. So they just had to score combined 50 or 30 points between the 2 of them, which could happen in fantasy.
For sure.
And he just conceded by trading one of them away to Ken. And I don't know if that was an error on his part, like he should have waited till after all the games were played and then made the trade, or what.
I thought that's what would happen. I thought, if anything, when I saw the trade go through, I was shocked. I was like, wow, that was fast.
Yeah, he just conceded and he ended up running without that person in his lineup.
And he didn't replace him. He didn't put. Maybe he thought Puka was going to be enough to beat you.
I don't know, but it was oddity. I'll take it.
But he also had Kittle. Like he had Puka and Kittle, and let's see, and you were done because
I had Christian McCaffrey and he was out,
and you had no way to do anything about it.
Yeah,
it was a game time thing.
Yeah.
So, or maybe he thought that McCaffrey was going to play, and there was no way he was going to catch you.
Something, but it just goes to show, like,
Because
you
that trade
really
went
should
through on
let
Sunday,
the games play through.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it went through on Sunday.
Yeah, it went through before the game even started. I was like, what the? I was like, what?
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, so it like shot up my projection win rate because of that, like way up and stuff. And I want to say he was still pretty close even after all that was said and
He
done.
lost by 16.
Something a running back could get. 16 points.
Having
sure.
not started a running back at all. Like, he probably doesn't get there, It was a bad week for his team.
But was the trade wasn't time sensitive or anything, so...
Oh, no, it was a Sunday night trade. That's what it was. So it went through Monday morning because he has Puka. And that's why I made the offer. It was because he lost Puka. So I offered him Rashee Rice and Stevenson for Breece Hall. So he takes a slight step down to he takes a step down from Breece to Stevenson. Theoretically, has like Stevenson outscored him in week 1, so we'll see. But his team is better overall once Puka comes back.
Well, you can say that about any team, really, but yeah,
no,
for
but
sure.
from the trade,
Right.
So like it is a good trade for him.
Yeah, gives him a chance.
Yeah.
All right, going on to DraftKings. I have mine pulled up, so I'll just go first. Starting with just the regular lineup, I have
Cash
Jay
lineup.
Herbert, T. Pollard, Jay Mason, St. Brown, Adams, Thomas Jr., Parkinson's, the tight end from the Rams. I'm wondering about. Robinson Jr. and Cowboys.
All right. My cash lineup. I'm going to go with the safest of the safe with Patrick Mahomes, Brees Hall, Mason, of course, is the free square this week. I'm going to go with Yoshi Boss to save a little money here. Again, I tried that last week. It wasn't great, but it was okay, and he's out there. Cooper Kupp is just going to be great this week. He's just going to get peppered in targets, so I'm going to get me some of that. Holy shit! Why did he? Keenan Allen is doubtful for week 2. I didn't even know he was.
Yeah, I almost picked that guy, and I was like, wait a minute.
All right, I got to take him out of my lineup. Hold on.
I think he's out.
Malik Neighbors, Cody Parkinson, Gibbs, and the Chargers
Is it
defense
Jahmyr
going
Gibbs?
against Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay. All right. So I only did one. I only did a tournament lineup.
Okay,
So I've got Jared Goff at 6,400 at quarterback.
same.
I've got Najee Harris at 5,500 and Jordan Mason, obviously the free square. At receiver, I've got Amon-Ra St. Brown at 8,100. Cooper Kupp at 76. This is just way too cheap for what he's going to do. And then Chris Godwin at 6,000 is probably about as cheap as he's going to be all season if he's going to get targeted like he did in week 1. I'm starting a third running back at tight end with Taysom Hill. And then I've got Brian Thomas Jr. In my flex at 4,800. And my defense is the Cardinals.
Ooh, Cardinals D. Mm-hmm. Is that they're just cheap or what?
They were 2,300.
Okay.
They're the cheapest, I think.
Yeah, they're the cheapest. And they're at home. The
divisional game.
The Rams got really beat up in that game. They lost like 3 offensive linemen.
Yeah, we lost all kinds of people.
and Puka. So it's, when you're playing out the rest of a game, that can play out better than after a team has a whole week to prepare for you not having the pieces that you don't have anymore. So we'll see. It's for 2,300, whatever. It was just better than the options that were anywhere close, and I didn't feel like spending up on defense this week. So that's what I got,
Right on.
and I think we're just about out of time.
You got your tournament lineup, though, right?
Yeah, I can give it to you real quick. I went with a Daniel Jones Malik Neighbors stack. What can go wrong? I was stuck with Brees Hall. I went ahead and went with Najee Harris. It was either him or Mason, and since this is a tournament lineup, I'm going to go with Harris, who's going to be much lower played, and hope that Mason, doesn't do anything. I've got T. Johnson for the Rams. I don't even know his first name.
Tyler.
Tyler Johnson.
Tank Johnson.
Right? Malik Neighbors, of course, and then St. Brown. Amon-Ra is going to be my stud. I got Mark Andrews at tight end and Godwin in my flex with the Steelers D, who are going to just tear up the Broncos.
So my tournament lineup is Tampa Bay, Detroit heavy with Jared Goff, Jay Gibbs, D. Montgomery, A.C. Brown, Mike Evans, Godwin, and then Conklin, Smith, Schuster, and the Vikings defense.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Who is your quarterback?
Jared Goff.
Okay. So you went with Goff and the 2 running backs, huh? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And St. Brown.
Oh, man.
He stacked it up.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just saying that they're going to go off today.
It's the biggest
Yeah,
over
for
under
sure. It's the
of
team.
of the day. So
It's the one to go after. I like it.
traditionally, that's what you guys have said to do. So that's
No,
what
it is.
that- yeah,
It is. That's the game to stack. So good luck, sir.
All right, and so that does it for today, everyone. We will see you all next week.
Good luck,
Be
everybody.
here.
Crush it.
Good luck.
That's game.
Whoops. Did it twice.